Thank you for staying with us. Now, the debate on the need for state policing is gaining momentum with the recent realities of insecurity in the country. With rising cases of violence, kidnapping, amongst others, the pan-Yoruba socio-political organization Afenifere, Ohanaeze and worldwide and other prominent ethnic groups have advocated for the federal government to allow states to run their police. Currently, the Nigeria Police Force operates a centralized system which is backed by the 1999 Constitution. The ethnic groups further say state policing would allow insecurity to be targeted at its root in each state. But joining us via Zoom from the UK is UK-based security expert Femi Aratokunle. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Good morning for having me.
Now, is state policing the answer to Nigeria's security problem?
Good morning, Nigerians, and good morning, everyone watching TVC this morning. The situation is a very tough one, and if I may say, state policing could be the answer, but at the present moment, state policing shouldn't be on board as a basic topic.
Why so?
We should tackle first. Excuse me, what did you say?
Why so?
Oh, why so? That's exactly the point where I'm coming from.
Right.
The question is we need to have a very good structure, a very good background, and a strong architectural design for the security we have in Nigeria today. At the moment, we do not have it. I personally, myself, I have been advocating for a strong security architecture in Nigeria, which we are trying to have, but some elements, some people are actually cashing out, using it as a self-gain to themselves, whereby making security a real big business to themselves and making it a terrible thing for Nigerians today. So this is why I said it is not viable, it is not the best at the moment, and everybody should look into why do we need it?
When you say, right, when you say strong security architecture, I'd like to understand better what you mean. What is wrong with our security architecture? What is lacking that it's not strong enough for us to achieve what we need to in terms of having a state security?
If I may come into that, thank you so much for this very question. Let me put it to you this way. Government should understand what is called wastage and what is called the future planning of good security investment in Nigeria. At the moment, we don't have it. So this is one of the key problems where I say we do not have it, except until we start reinvesting back into our Nigerian police force in the right way. Then we will see that state policing might be the next thing for us to do. But if we refuse to reinvest back in them, if we refuse to redeploy them, retrain them, give them better welfare, please tell me, what do we think we're going to have to do with the state policing? It's going to be the same thing at the end of the day, because they want to follow the same platform. Nothing has changed. Let us look at the issue of LASTMA. Let us take LASTMA in Lagos as a body example. We have the VIO, we have LASTMA, we have many more like that. What do you think has become of them? What do you think has become of Amotekun today in Nigeria? What do you think has become of Arewa, whatever they call them in the north today? What has become the Ebubeagu in the east today? They are just fundamentally destroyed one way or the other politically. So until we have a very strong one for Nigeria, as in this is our base, this is our Nigerian security structure, this is our security foundation, then we can have a better way to do it. Let us think of man-o-war, for example, now. We have them, we can equally make them to be part of the system, but we relegated them, we neglected them. Let us look at Peace Corps today. We neglected them, we relegated them. Rather, we have the civil defense, which is fine, nothing bad at all. But have we really empowered them? So we have the two different arms there, the police and the civil defense. What have we been able to do with them? Let's leave this as one angle. Let us look at the issue of the security budget given to Nigerians as far back as 1999. As far back as 1999, Constitution has said that, okay, security should be given a top priority. But have we actually done anything with them? Look at our police stations today. Do we have anything like computer desktop, let alone laptop, or new technology that will help them to fight insecurity in Nigeria? We see our security personnel looking haggard, looking not so interesting at all to us. But when we come to foreign areas, we see how they have actually developed, kitted up, and given them a better welfare. So we have a long way to go until this new or this present administration see it as a tough case for them to answer. Then state policing can be the right answer. But at the moment, I don't think is the best answer to go for.
Okay, so you talked earlier about reinvesting into the police force. We've seen situations where governments have pumped in equipment, pumped in funds into the police force, but we still have the situation that we have till now. National security is jeopardized at every point, and we have crises everywhere. How do you think that this will help the force?
That's a very good question. Some weeks ago or some months ago, I was actually interviewed by one of the Nigerian TV stations. And then I told one of them that, look, this is December period, and we know what happens in Nigeria, especially within our roads. The question is this: have we been able to even call like a state or like a town hall meeting between the NURT, the police, the road safety, and many more different security agencies together to form an alliance and understand how do we protect and how do we make our roads safe for the users? Okay, let me put it to you this way, and I want you to please give me a very good answer, and I want Nigerians as well to please join in this conversation. Ever since we've been doing launching and commissioning of different kind of security equipment, how many have you actually seen with our police forces along our roadside? Each time they develop and they commission helicopters hovering around, how many helicopters have you seen hovering around communities, or perhaps doing a joint force around Lagos, Ibadan, Benin, or the Express Road and other areas as well? These are the reasons why other governors or other states or Ohanaeze and Afenifere are advocating for state policing. Until we have this done, we will not have a good answer. Don't forget, we are now in a situation whereby trust is an issue with Nigerian police force, trust is an issue with the government, trust is an issue with the government and the governors, and trust is equally an issue with people we give the security business to do. So how do we go about it? Is by coming out in a more transparent way to look into different things and ask ourselves, are we doing the right thing for the country, or we're doing the right thing for ourselves? Are we trying to cash in, or we're just trying to, lie on the basis of, on the pretense of we are doing so much, but results are not seen? Don't let us forget one basic fact. Any good security in any country will drive in big-time investment, and good investors will want to come down there. That is why you see foreigners coming abroad, foreigners coming everywhere into UK, US, and all the rest because of good security. If you have good security, you have other social welfares fall in place. But if you don't have good security, other social welfares will definitely be crumbled, and we definitely have no headway.
So if you're talking about trust issues now, don't you think that with state police, we might still have this sort of situation? The fact that because Nigerians don't trust the national police, the central police force, that will trickle down to state police.
This is why I said we need to look again back into the foundation and the basis and the core root of our problem, which is trust issue. This is why we need to re-strategize, reform our police officers, reform the institution, reform, we have the criminology students in Nigeria today. Well over 26 campuses, universities are actually offering criminology as a course in Nigeria. Why can't we make them to be part of it? Why can't we use these young boys and girls and use their ideas and brains and put it back into use for the country? Why are we so much putting a whole lot of things into wastage and thinking the old idea of our 1950s is still the best way? When others are moving on, I could see our security system sliding backward. That is why we see cybersecurity going off and on everywhere. That is why we see so much, how do I put it this way, lack of confidence within our police officers and the member of the public. That is why we see so much lack of good customer service between the police and the member of the public. How will the member of the public respect our police officers if they are not well trained? How would they ever see trust in them if we cannot be open to them that this is what we are doing? Why do you think a lot of people will trust them if there is no good accessibility to the police stations, if there is no good response squad, rapid response, and so much time in phone calls to look into cases that are meant to be petty, but we made it to be issues? A case study is case of Mohbad. It has been handled so poorly, and we can see a lot of people laughing at us because we do not have the right and the right equipment in place to tackle so many things. Our social welfare is poor within the police, so everything they do might probably not be a good result. That is why I said to you, and I'll keep saying it, until we reform back our Nigerian police force, state policing will be a thing of story and it will never go anywhere at all. Perhaps, or rather, it will just be a maze of, some other people making money out of it and nothing comes out of it at the end of the day.
Right. Let's look at this statement that the Inspector General of Police made. He said he inherited a battered police force and that is grossly inadequate and that the welfare is nothing to write home about. And he also went to talk about the matter of funding not being inadequate, and that it is also critical to addressing whatever they need to do as a police force. And this brings the question of our sincerity towards and our commitment towards addressing this matter of insecurity. If we know that these people are critical to we having the kind of security we need in the country, how is it that we are at this point having a battered police force that is inadequately funded?
You see, let me make something clear to Nigerians as a whole. Each time we see any new administration coming, they want to blame the past administration. But do not forget, the present IG, and I repeat it, the present IG is no stranger to the Nigerian police force. He grew up from the lowest rank to where he is today. So saying that, oh, AXYZ is responsible for this and that shouldn't be a very good statement. Rather, what we should be talking about is auditing what we have in the past and looking into what do we think is necessary for Nigerian police.
Are you saying we shouldn't have painted a picture of what the true situation is?
I'm not saying don't paint, but are you telling me it's not part of them before, or what is the situation in Nigeria today? He
wasn't at the helm of affairs.
Well, it was part of the committee.
What could he have done?
He could have done a whole lot better when he was in his own department. The question is, what did he do when he was in his own department? Everybody should check themselves. This is where the transparency now comes in. I'm not trying to probably say he's not a good guy or he's a bad guy, but what I'm saying is this: do not let us start apportioning blames. Let us look at the whole thing and look into, you know what, we are wrong, let us start from a clean slate. That should be the best way to go about it.
But isn't this statement necessary to put pressure on government to do what is needed at this point to addressing the inadequacies in the police force so they can address the challenges we have as a nation, security-wise?
This is one thing they have actually been talking about as far back as God knows when. And this is why I said the statement, to me, is not the best at this point in time. What should be the best is we want a new reformation. We want a new ideas. We want new tactical being in our police force. We want to reform our own strategy. Let us have a new strategy in place. We're not having that. So don't let us start apportioning blame or blaming the government or suggesting the wrong thing to the government. It is not the right tune. What Nigerians want to see right now is a good force working with other security agencies. Do not forget one thing. When was the last time, let me put it this way, a security guard in Nigeria was actually being trained to understand certain things, let alone the Nigerian police force? When was the last time you see any of these people go on holidays? When was the last time you see them given some kind of, mandatory training program to go through that member of the public can actually see and assess? Do you think Nigerian government in the Nigerian police force are Do they have websites? Do they have emails? Not Gmail or Yahoo Mail. We're talking about mentioning like Egbeyemi, IGP at police dot blah, blah, blah. Trickle down to the last constable. Do they have all this? Do they have what they can use to work in town, within the community? Do they have walkie-talkie to walk around? Apart from those in the police station, that's a part of the reforms we're talking about. We don't have it. Somebody can commit a crime in Lagos State and start living in Kano State and still committing crime. What about the database talking about in terms of fingerprinting and criminal analysis? We do not have all this. These are the things we need to put in place. But do we have all this in place? We don't have it. So when we start apportioning blames, we don't need that. What we do need is an idea to bring about training, an idea to bring about good welfare, and the idea to bring about good understanding how to live with the community and making the community to trust us. We are part of the police. Police are part of us. They are our brothers and sisters, but they need our help and we need their help as well. Because their uniform makes them to be in authority, but the moment they leave or take off their uniform, they are a member of the community as well. So we need to understand how to live together in one harmony, in one understanding, and be truthful to ourselves. At the moment, police and the member of public seems to have lost the word trust. And the government should look into their faces and tell ourselves, instead of buying all these SUVs you're buying, let us channel this money into security so that everybody can be safe. Is it a must that every senator, councillors, and everybody must go around with security officers? No. But because of the insecurity, they are looking into themselves and leaving the community to fend for themselves, or perhaps to believe in God only and leaving the physical security to to restructure itself. It's not going to work. If we keep going into this angle, as in the security has got to be for the government alone and leaving the community behind, it is still not going to work. We need them because a good security will bring in a good investment in Nigeria. But without that, we will not go anywhere. We'll just be dancing around as if we're in a barbing salon with a barber chair rolling and rolling and rounding up and down. This is what we're going to have at the end of the day, and we don't want that. Okay, so talking about reforms now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has set up a constitutional review committee to carry out comprehensive police reforms. That's as far back as early as October, towards the end of October. So looking at all of this, and you've consistently talked about reforms to be put in place to overhaul the Nigerian police. If you were to handle the police and to suggest some reforms now, what will that be? Thank you for this question, and I think I will just say this way. The reforms in Nigeria doesn't take up to between 3 to 6 months. The first thing is this: who are the well-qualified people that really want to work in the Nigerian police? What is their welfare package going to be? And I can assure you, you will see how loads of brilliant Nigerians, both home and abroad, will troop in because they want to make Nigeria great again. You will see how people will be competitive into different posts and different ideas and different roles will coming into place because we know exactly what the problem is. But politically, will that ever work is the question. Politically, will that give room for good security in Nigeria? No, let's leave the political angle first, because before all of... I'm telling you, if you want to leave the political angle first, politics will come into place. Definitely. But what about the mindsets of the men of the force itself? Leave politics out of it first. This is what I'm saying to you. This is what I'm saying to you. Let us try to be very tactical here. When you say the mindset, we have some people with good ideas who want things to work in the Nigerian police force themselves. I can name names, but it's not just worth it naming names. I have met with people that say, you know what, we want things to work, but people at the top, who are the people at the top? We know them. What is this Police Service Commission doing when we have the real personnel not being given the right things to work with? So what are we talking about here? So why not just let us scrap some stuff that are actually not working at all, that is actually gulping all these security budgets, all these finances. Let us scrap some stuff and see what will work in Nigeria. What we want to see work in Nigeria is we want something that anybody can easily access, which is the website, how to report cases, how to get feedback from the cases they are reporting, how not to ask the police to please, if you want to go to the police station, you have to buy a piece of paper, you have to buy a pen, you have to pay for this and pay for that. No, the budgets are there, but where are they today? So we have a lot to scrap and we have a lot to put together, which simply means a lot of graduates need to be re-empowered back and redeployed back into the Nigerian police force. That is the first way to go.
Really?
Then the next, the training, because we have different kind of training program we need to put together.
How many graduates want to be part of the
Yes.
police force?
Okay, if you want to talk about the graduates, do you know the number of criminology students that are out there who are graduates and they have nothing to do? They think about themselves as no future, nothing to do.
Do they apply whenever the police opens up applications?
Do they need to apply? What does it cost the Nigerian police situation to, like, you know what?
It's to follow due process.
It is not about, you see, this is the problem. It's not about following the due process. It's about opening the channel for them. It is about opening the channel for them. That, okay, from year 4 or from year 3, this is how you're going to do your internship. This is what you're going to do. This is how to go about it. It is not about following due process as in, oh, the form is out, come and take the form. Before you know it, the next thing is, do you know who can help me in this? Do you know who can help me in that? The channel must be open. It must be transparent. This is part of the transparency we talk about. We do not have this in the system. So how do you want to have them in the Nigerian police force? And lots of them are, you know, database analysis, cyber security, personnel, different ideas, brilliant boys and girls are all there, but they are just damn idle doing nothing. That, okay, you know what? It's free for all. After, if I finish up, there's nothing for me to do. So let me start looking into what else I can do. Meanwhile, we have all this brain destroyed without knowing it, and they travel abroad, and you see them excel better.
So has the school looked at collaborating with the Nigeria Police Force? Have they opened conversation on seeing how they can collaborate?
You know how many times they have actually opened this conversation with them?
You tell me, it seems you know more, so tell us about that.
Of course, yes, I do know more, because I have a lot of these criminology students. All they cry about is this: they find it very difficult to access the police. They find it very difficult to have entry into understanding what the police system is all about, or the policing system is all about. So what we need to do now is, what is the connection? How do we connect them together? How do we make them accessible to not only the Abuja police headquarters, but all police stations across board? This is a system that should work. This is why technology is key, is important within the Nigerian police force. It is not just about, oh, we're doing recruitment 2023, 2024 recruitment. It has to be an ongoing thing every time, every minute, every second, every time. If we do not have this, then we will not have a good balance into how do we want to restructure Nigerian security system. Don't forget, in 5 years' time, we might probably have a crash fall in security personnel within the Nigerian police force.
Right.
So,
okay.
Guys, we're talking about is the question.
Right. There's this question I want to ask you. The president just ordered the withdrawal of police escorts from VIPs in order to develop community policing strategy. That conversation is still on. So I'm wondering what your position is on this decision by the president.
Yeah, the president spoke well, and this is something they've been speaking and talking about as far back as 1999. Every single president will say it. Even every single IG that's been in this new, whatever, any administration will first say, yeah, that's been the norm. It's like Christmas song right now. My name is AXYZ. I want to, make sure that all officers securing VIPs must withdraw back to the station. That's a blatant lie. We all know this. It's just a mere speech, talk, just like, okay, you know what, let us reform, but it's not done. However, Veronica, do not forget, I'm a close protection officer myself, and I've been training loads of Nigerian security personnel in VIP protection and all the rest. The first thing they do complain about is this: when they finish up, how do they get the job? Because the police with their AK-47s are taking up the job they are not meant to be taking. So who is withdrawing who is the question here. Is it just mere talk, or because we lack manpower?
Shouldn't we give the government the benefit of the doubt that this time around could be different? Things could be different?
Veronica,
yes.
Today is Thursday, and the time in Nigeria is 8:49. The time in UK is 7:49. I will quote you on this. Perhaps if we're going to have the same discussion next year, and I'm going to prove you so wrong. Because so many times it has happened, and again, you're saying that, oh, why can't we just trust him? Yes, I want to trust everybody. I want to believe people are saying the truth. But let us see the practicality of the truth they're talking about. This is the question we're saying to you now today. This is the question Nigerians are asking. We're not saying no administration is good or bad, but prove your worth. It is not about politics this time around. It's about your own personality. It's about your own ideas and views and your manifesto you campaigned about. You campaigned you're going to secure the territory of Nigeria. You're going to secure lives and property. Then let us see you do it. It has to come with reforms. It has to come with new ideas. That is why we say, yes, this administration is good for us or it's not good for us.
Okay. So how would you rate, excuse me, the Southeast and other parts of the country have raised up their own internal security, not necessarily calling it community policing, but also like we have the Amotekun and the Ubeagu. Now, do you think this has helped forestall crisis in the regions where they are operating?
Absolutely, yes. Some states, I can tell you for a fact, some states, you might probably see them not really declaring it as state police or whatsoever we call it today. Some states have actually adopted a style whereby they use their own local ideas to like, okay, let us form this, like Amotekun, you just mentioned. In Niger State, they have theirs as well. In fact, in Niger State, some of them are actually carrying AK-47s. In Kebbi State, the same thing. So let us look at the North. No one is actually talking so much about it because a lot of them, they have all this state policing and it's actually working for them. In some places, it might not really work for them, but in some places, it's really working. Do you want to tell me that in Lagos State, we don't have more than state police? We have more than state police men and women walking around. Not really Nigerian police force, but different security sectors being developed, being brought together under security, I've forgotten what it's called. And it's actually working. But the question is this, if you want to spell it
Neighborhood Watch.
Neighborhood Watch is there, the vigilantes are there, and we have so many like that. Even the man o' war are even more relevant in Lagos and some places.
Man o' war.
Man o' war, yes. You remember Man o' war that happened that I think they started as far back as 1951. Up to now, they are still relevant. But why do we find it very difficult to let us empower these people? They might probably be one of the key ideas to solving the problem in Nigeria today. We're not looking at all this. Okay. If we want to look at a certain period of things, then let us look at it better and make it work. I'm not saying the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu will not work, but it's got to expand ideas and welcome new ideas so that the administration can be a good one and a better one for the country.
I just want to know, this matter of trust is the big elephant in the room, how we can begin to build that between the people and the police and the people as well.
The only way to build this trust has got to come from good security customer service. The only way to build this trust is how to build what you call a better security feedback to the member of the public. The only way to build this trust is what you call security patrol without fear. When we say security patrol without fear, not when you see a police van or a police truck come to your neighborhood, the next thing is they want to make arrest. It might probably just be coming around just to talk to you about, is everything okay here? What do you need? What do you think we need to do better? How can we help better in this area? What's the best time you think we can always come around to come and talk to elders around all this community and neighborhood? So what we do need is a friendly security atmosphere. If we have a friendly security atmosphere, that simply means the member of the public can tell us exactly what the police men and women can do or the police institution can do to help tackle criminal activities within the neighborhood. Because most of these criminal activities are being carried out from communities and neighborhoods. So if we have this distrust amongst ourselves, if we do not trust ourselves, if you can't keep company, if there's no confidentiality in whatever I'm talking to you and you make good use of it, then there will never be any trust between the member of the public and the police. What they need to have first is what you call the security customer service, which is completely different from normal banking customer service
Femi,
or normal public.
We have to leave this conversation here now. I know you can go on and on about this because you're passionate about matters of security. Well, we must thank you, security expert Femi Aratokunwale, joined us from the UK. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Right. Well, this is where we draw the curtains on the program for today. Let's tell you that the views and reactions of all our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC News. Up next is Your View with the Ladies, and afterwards, This Morning with Yori Folarin. Stay safe.